Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'd like everyone to know that when we were setting up our cameras, we were not this bright. Oh, you're fine. I've become brighter. I wonder if
Well,
the
that's
sun.
because the sun's coming out, right? Everybody,
Yeah.
good morning. I'm Ann Rossley. I'm with Kyle Harvey. We sell real estate in downtown Chicago with Baird Warner in the Gold Coast office, and we love to come to you every week to talk about what's going on in real estate. But it's been a couple of weeks since we've been together. We've had a few things going on, and
Share with us where you've been.
yes, we had the big vacation, the big vacation. So I have three quick photos to share for you. Here's there's the first one. It was the Theta Chi reunion, my husband's fraternity in Munich at Oktoberfest, and here are the guys with their flag. Here we are at one of the tents. This is my first time at Oktoberfest, and here I am with my handsome husband in our dirndl and lederhosen. So there you have it, folks. That
So
was it.
I wish I'd known how specific this was. Um, 10, 15 years ago, I was at Oktoberfest in Munich, and I had my dirndly thing. And so next year when you go,
Oh, I don't know if I'm ever going to go again, but go ahead.
once is enough.
Yeah, yeah.
I have friends who go every year, and they have the
Our
best.
dear friend who organized this was his 28th year. But he lived in Europe for about 20 years.
It's
So
also objectively very fun. It takes a long time to recover, or it did for me. My
well,
friends
me.
my people were big drinkers. Anyway, they were German.
Yeah, I'm not a big drinker, but
Yeah,
it was the whole atmosphere. It was fun.
yeah,
So anyway, now we're back. Here we are. Today we're going to talk about the typical stuff, what's going on in the downtown real estate market. We're also going to talk about a couple other things of interest. We're going to talk about combinations of condos and who does it, why they do it, why it can work, why it might be not so good an idea, and tips. And then if we have time, we're going to get into some really cool luxury properties, right?
yes. But I'm interested in the stats because it's been a while. Tell us what's going on, Anne.
All right. So here's the story. As always, we talk about, hold on, let me remove our names. We talk about the lakefront communities, and that's from South Loop up to Edgewater, including those west, which means West Town, Wicker Park, Bucktown, Logan Square, North Center, and Lincoln Square. So I'm going to kind of go at a fairly rapid clip. Kyle, if there's something you want to stop me on, just interrupt.
Yeah.
Um, our graphs are 5-year graphs, and it except for pricing, it's always by month. So you can see 5 years in front of you of closed single family homes. And last month, September, 75 homes closed. The dots are the Septembers of previous years. So you can see from 2020 up to 2025 how many sold each September. So as you look at these charts, that's what's going on. And of course, you can see, the ups and downs where we typically will have the most sales in May or April. Well, actually, May or June are the closings. Pendings are 45 days before that. But so you can see 75 closed last month, and whoops, I went too fast. 81 went under contract, and that was a blip up. The 2 previous years were less. So 81 was a nice number.
This is September, people.
Thank you. Only 153 were for sale when I did this slide a week ago. Isn't that insane? That is lower than any December, anything.
Shocking.
And this is that whole market area. And we've been talking about this for over a year, the lack of inventory.
We've been talking about it really since we started this podcast. This, whatever it is, this video, whatever we're doing.
Yeah, we started about in COVID, right? 2020?
Yes, we started
And
in
there were
2020.
563 for sale in September of that year.
Yeah. And we've been saying inventory's low inventory. And look at how it's getting worse and worse and worse. Maybe we need to stop talking about it. It'll rise.
Yeah, let's hope. We're at an all-time high on the median home price of $1.5 million.
Wow.
I know. for that whole area. Think about that.
I know.
That equates to only 1.8 months worth of inventory. That's 1.8 months to sell out everything on the market, given the current rate of sale. And of course, I always want to break this down into price points because look at this, over $3 million homes, there's a 4.8 month inventory is all right now.
And usually those take a long time to sell.
Well, look, in 2020, we had a 30-month inventory of single family homes.
Crazy.
In that over 3 million. Yeah. I know. I just let that sink in a minute. That's just incredible. And of course, it's no surprise that when you have demand and no inventory, prices go up. So even though we have a lack of inventory, look at this, we still have sold more.
That's the price rise.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's switch over to attached condos, books, townhomes. 803 closed in September, so that was also up a little bit from previous Septembers. 775 under contract. And it's not the lowest ever, but still, it's the lowest September that we've had. Typically, we get rising inventory September, October, November, right? And before they take them off the market for the holidays. But no, that's not happening here.
Well, but there's a little tick. Isn't there a little tick from August? Isn't that a little
tick from August? But look at these others.
I know.
The top of the inventory is oftentimes
Yeah.
in September. So
yeah. No, you're right.
But only 2.2 months of inventory. So
even
with condos.
I've got a lot of buyers. I have too few sellers, but I've got a lot of buyers right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of interest in buying, especially with rates having come down lately. Okay, so again, over 2 million, it's only 7.2 months of inventory.
Yeah.
It was almost up to 40 in COVID, and we're down to 7.2. And anything under 1 million, it's less than 2 months worth of inventory. So median sales price, it's the same as the last month, 465. And we're up a little bit on number of solds despite the lack of inventory. All right. We're down to 6.3 interest rate.
That's according to
Mac. Isn't that great? Yeah.
Good.
And in terms of rents are down. Remember, this is not now just lakefront communities. This is all of Chicago. I think this $2.63 per square foot. That's kind of where we're at. And near North Side is the most expensive for rentals. And I just wanted to throw this one national slide in here to show you. You may have heard, I don't mean you, Kyle, I mean our viewers, because you and I talk about this all the time, about pricing and how all these talks nationally about the real estate market and the prices are falling and yada, yada. The Mid-Atlantic, the East Coast is very strong real estate wise, but we're right there.
Yeah.
In terms
of the next strongest region.
Yes, indeed we are. So
good for us.
Yeah, good for us. But it does mean people need to think about it. All right. You want to go into neighborhood look now quick?
Yes, please.
All right. So let's look at, now what I did is I did neighborhood median sales price, and then I did increase over the last 10 years.
Oh, it's going to be so nice.
Yes, it is. Okay. So of course, in the loop, the purple, we have no single family homes. So that's not in the mix. But if you go to the south loop, the near south side, $1.2 million is the median sales price up. Now this was our lowest in general, up 16.8%. Look at the near west side. Now this is, it's not the west loop, people. It's west loop plus south of 290. And that's why it's not as high as you would expect it to be. It's up almost 100% in the last 10 years.
A lot of that area, especially parts south of 290, are homes that are getting torn down and rebuilt. Some of that's land. So it's going to be even more as people start to, as these new houses get sold.
Right.
There's a lot of development there.
Now I'm going to talk about Lincoln Park and near north in the slides here. So this shows the graphs. Lincoln Park up 17% year over year, whereas 10 years ago it was at $1.5 million. So think about that. Lincoln Park was $1,557,000. Today, the median sales price for the whole area is $1.5 million, right?
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, West Town, $1,280,000. That includes Wicker Park, Bucktown. What else do I have here? And the near west side, 661, but it was 343 10 years ago. So
it says it's down 10%. Is that 10% year over year?
Yes, year over year.
That just shows what's selling in that area. Not, yeah.
Okay, so this is why I wanted to talk near north side, because as of today, the median sales price is $2.3 million, and it was $2.6 million. But folks, that doesn't mean the near north is losing value for single family homes. It means that they are generally higher priced. There aren't that many of them. So what happens to sell at a certain period of time greatly affects the statistics. And so we can't really just look at one thing. Same is true about the near south side. We said that they had been up 10% or down 10% or whatever. But look, again, you've got some lovely single family homes in Dearborn Park too, but there aren't that many of them. So when they sell, they're going to sell for more. And of course, Logan Square, 539 to $1.1 million. That really gone crazy. All right. So now let's look at the northern communities. Lakeview, $1.8 million median sales price. Uptown, 1.4. Edgewater's now over $1.1 million, which is an 84% increase. Lincoln Square, 81% increase over the last 10 years. And of course, North Center with their great schools, that's up. And here are the graphs for those to see what's happened. And I included Lincoln Park here again, as I showed you Lakeview and Uptown, the three along the lakefront communities, so that you could see, even year over year, up 17%. And in Uptown, 28%. Huge year over year.
Uptown it's been a long time coming.
Yes, it sure has. It sure has. And now it's saying it's day. All right. Let me remove that. Okay. Now North Center, year over year, up 19%.
Wow.
Edgewater up 5.7. Lincoln Square down 1% year over year, but look where it was. It was at 565 and now it's $1.025 million. So
it may also reflect the type of properties that sold this year.
Very good point.
Yeah.
Very good point. Because they were doing maybe some tear downs for new construction there, right? Okay, so let's switch over to condos now. Looking at the near south side, I have to. 398 is the least expensive. The near west side, 420. Look at Logan Square, 549. It's not the highest community, but it's up 71.6% in.
That's 10 years. This is the 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's that. Let's look at the slides. So you can see the near west side in gold. And I remember when we were in COVID, or even let's talk the 2008 crash. When the 2008 crashed, nobody wanted to buy in West Town. Right. And look at its price at $316. Wow. And now it's up to $420. Yeah. That was a huge increase. And the near south side has stayed pretty flat from 375 to 398.
Well, to be fair, the near south side during this period of time was a relatively new neighborhood that had a lot of building. And so those buildings, because there's not time for appreciation to happen, that the buildings aren't getting more valuable. It's the first sales of a new building always go down a little bit. So this is a neighborhood just keep your eye on, because it's only going to get better as the housing stock gets more mature.
Yeah.
And more building comes in. It's just because it was a new neighborhood, and you lose a little ground once you resell a new building.
Right. Okay, so here we are, Lincoln Park again. up 7% year over year. Westtown up 2.4 year over year, but Logan up 10% year over year. Okay, so now the condos on the north side, Edgewater at 289 may sound very cheap. That's because you've got all those condos on Sheridan Road that are very inexpensive. If you go inland to the walk-ups, they're much more, but still, look, it's a 70% increase in 10 years, which has been the hottest neighborhood. Lakeview 481. Let's go back here. Lincoln Park, notice 650 for a condo now in Lincoln Park. And we've watched.
Tiny. And they're tiny.
Yeah. Uptown up 48%, 48.6%. And North Center up 43%. So here are what those slides look like. Lakeview 481 up 13% in 1 year.
Wow.
North Center, Lincoln Square. Let's go to Lincoln Park. Okay, so here you can see Lincoln Square, 267.2 to 383.5, up 13% in 1 year. Now, Uptown's had a little stagnation here. I think, again, it depends on what's for sale because there's not been a hit in Uptown.
No.
And then finally, Edgewater, it went from 170 to 289.5. So,
wow.
That's that. That's it. That's my take on neighborhoods.
Well, it's great. And the main takeaways, if people, I've been having conversations, as you have, what's going on with the market. And they look at us with, or at least the people who talk to me, look at me with concern. And I want to say, Chicago's on fire. I mean, there's so much demand. And they're surprised by that because they're listening to the national news. They're listening to what's going on in Florida, what's going on in California, what's going on in Texas.
Right.
And they think that that's also what's going on in Chicago because Chicago has had bad real estate news for so long.
Exactly.
It's not. Oh my God, people.
No.
Sell your homes. We'll sell it in a minute. So so it's everyone take away from it. Our market's doing really well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's talk about combination units.
Okay, so Ann and I were talking yesterday about, and will you please pull up my combo units 1?
Combo, is this it?
No, 1. Combo, that's combo 3. There we go, combo 1.
Okay.
So combination units are when we have two, because condominiums are developed as specific spaces, and they're often tiers of spaces. So I live in a condo, I live in F. And so, but I can combine my F unit with the D unit to make a bigger unit. So these are combo units where somebody has put 2 units or more together. So this is one. Oh, oopsie. I had a slide, people, that talked about the pros and cons. There we go. Here we go. Combo units. Is it worth it? Here we go. So the pros and cons of putting 2 units together. 1, you get more space. The con to more space is you can have a wonky space, crazy, and you're going to see some examples of that.
And that's because there are some structural elements within the floor plan that just can't be moved. So depending on
or you don't rethink the whole space, you're tacking on.
Right.
So when you tack on,
don't tack on.
Or you can, but we'll talk about that. The big pro is you don't have to move. You've fallen in love with your neighborhood. You like your building. It's close. It's convenient. You just add more space, more footprint. But then you pay, as Ann has pointed out, a lot higher HOAs and taxes because you have to pay not only the first unit, but the second unit's HOA fee and taxes. So that can really add up.
Yeah. Well, typically, folks, like if you own a 2-bedroom, you might have $1,800 a month in assessments. If you have a 1-bedroom, you might have $1,000 a month. You put the 2 together, all of a sudden you've got 2,300.
28.
28. Thank you. I was.
Thank you. There's some math involved.
But the point is, it's not And then you get to a 3-bedroom in that building, it might be 2,000 or 2,100 instead of the 2,800.
Yes.
So square foot by square foot, you're paying more when you do a combo.
You
I don't know
absolutely
if I explained that well, but
You absolutely can, and that's just the thing. And the big pro is you get to maximize what's important to you. So how you need the space, what you need, if you need it for storage, if you need it for more bedrooms, if you need it for whatever, you get to maximize that. The downside, so while you live in it, it's great. There's a woman who used to live in my building, and she bought the unit next door. It was a B unit, and she bought the D unit. And what she wanted was her own storage closet. So she took out the kitchen in the old one and turned it into just a ginormous storage closet, 950-foot storage closet. But that was important to her. The bad thing was it really made the unit hard to sell.
yeah.
So because what you need, the buyer may not need. Often our needs are unique. And finding a buyer with the same kinds of needs and desires can be tricky because you're your own buyer. So here's one that's an example. And this is one of my favorite buildings in the city of Chicago. I call it the gigantic wedding cake. It is 1550 North State Parkway. And the unit called Library, which is the floor called LIB, Library, used to be the laundry. And it's really, you can't see my cursor, but I'm moving my cursor across. It's the first full floor above the lobby floor. It used to be the laundry when this building was built in the 19 teens. And they have pretty much the full floor, not the entire floor because some of it is wine storage. So this is the library floor it was 3 units, A, B, and C, I believe.
Right.
And so they've bought, they've combined, it was already combined to include all of this. And this is, as you can see, a complex floor plan that has beautiful entry and beautiful rooms. But then they bought this little space downstairs and this big space downstairs. And so what they have now is 7,800 square feet.
Oh, my Lanta. Oh,
Over 3, and you can't get to the space to the left from the space to the right without going upstairs, around, and down another set of stairs. So wonky floor plan. And they have some pictures of the space to the left. So this is what beautiful. This is what the main unit looks like. The top unit that was combined much earlier, but beautiful finishes. It's a gorgeous unit, people. But this is the stairway down to the larger space. And this is what the large space looks like. So what they needed was a place for their kids, clearly, to hang out, do all this stuff. They don't show a picture of the other space, which are 2 little bedrooms that look sort of like that's where they put, I don't know what they did with that, but it must be something. But so they kept the kitchen. This is a second kitchen of the other space. So it just doesn't make sense. So when I talked to the previous broker about this, and I was like, break up the spaces and sell them separately.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Because you've now made it difficult for somebody who, and the HOA, let me see if I can find the HOA for this is $8,700 a month.
And that does not include your taxes.
Because these are condos. The taxes are $78,000 a year.
So you're at over 15,000 before you pay your mortgage. Well, you're not.
That's what it is. 15,000.
Wow.
So the person who buys this isn't going to have a mortgage, but still, good Lord. Okay, so that is an example, and it's been for sale for a very long time, probably 2 or 3 years, and though they've gone on and off the market. So now let's go to So 1325 State is a building that has two bedroom apartments all on the corners, and then one bedrooms in the middle. And a number of units have a number of owners of big units have bought the one next door. And I'm going to show you some the A units that have bought the C unit and difference in floor plans. So unit 18 AC was sold 2 years ago for $620,000. It had been bought 10 years before that for over $150,000, or about $150,000 more. But it lost.
That's a great price per square foot for that.
I'm sorry?
That's a great price per square foot.
Great price per square foot, but it needed a lot of work. And I'm not going to show you all the things that it needed, but there is just a wonky floor plan. What the people who did, so the 2 bedroom ends at the wall to the primary bedroom. Do you see where that primary bedroom wall is?
Yeah.
That becomes the 1 bedroom next door. And they really didn't, they moved some walls around, but they really didn't rethink how the whole space would work. They sort of tacked on. So the next owner, who are lovely people, it'll be interesting to see what their floor plan looks like and what they did to rationalize it. So here is what 14 AC did with the same space. Now you see that the person who developed 14 AC changed things around. They put the master bedroom at the end, not this sort of office closet-y thing. And so there becomes this nice bedroom with a bar area, a library. So somebody's office is right to the right next to the primary bedroom. And then they've got a second bedroom and then a den. They've created space that makes sense for a lot of people. And they opened up the kitchen and they made that a really nice entertainment area.
Right.
And so that sold for $915,000, which was a good price considering that this remodel had been done probably 15 years earlier.
And what are the assessments on these units when you put an A and a C together? Do you have
the assessments have gone up a little bit. They're about $2,700.
Okay. And that includes all your utilities, though.
No, it does not. It does not include electrical.
I know, but
I'm just saying all your utilities, people.
you're right. You're right. But your heat and your air conditioning are.
Oh, it includes the things that, yeah, thanks, yeah. And then 20 AC, which sold, which was big time remodeled and sold as a sort of on spec. They remodeled it and sold it on spec. They really did how people live now kind of thing. They created fancy bathroom, fancy primary bathroom. It's kind of far from the bedroom, but it was done with beautiful finishes. It's not entirely clear if there's another bathroom. Yeah, it looks like there are 2. It's an odd thing. So anyway,
yeah. You have 2 master baths. It looks like that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, but it's actually very pretty, and it sold for $960,000. So really positive.
So they took out one of the bedrooms to create this enormous living dining area.
Yes.
Which, when you just
took out the second bedroom of the typical A unit.
Absolutely right. Right. Okay.
Okay. And then so that was that. Here's 161 East Chicago, which has done, and they got this for sale. They got a number of combo units, and I focused on the DE combo, which is they've had a bunch for sale. So this is the original, as you can tell, original floor plan for a D unit. It's a studio, and there are very few of them left. They're normally comboed, but so this is the D unit. So just like a hotel room,
right?
And this is the typical E unit, and they are they're a good size. So combined, they're 27. So the D unit is 650 square feet, and the standard E is 2143. So it's about 2,800 square feet. So this is what a DE unit that sold for $750,000 this year, what it did. And it, as you will see, this one made this which I think the same mistake is they just tacked it on. They tacked on the D and left everything else the same. The D is to the right, and it looks like there's, you can enter from there. They've got the kitchen, they've got a closet, they took out they took out the kitchen, they got the bathroom, and they turned it into an office. But other than that, it's really just the same thing. And that didn't sell great. I mean, that's a low price for 161 East Chicago. Well, this is 34 DE, and it sold earlier for $1 million. And you'll see that they recreated the space to the right by taking more space for that second bedroom of the E unit and taking some of that from the D unit and really opening it up in a different way. So they also did some intelligent things with the laundry and near the entry, and so that one sold for $1 million. But then this one sold for, and it's a higher floor. Yes, it is. Both of them are higher than the 29. But this one sold for 1.65 a while ago. But you'll see how they re-envisioned the entire space in a way that creates different value. So they've got an extra bedroom. So now there are really 4 bedrooms, because this den could be a bedroom.
Right.
And created a nice big bathroom. They've got a powder room. They've really done a re-envisioning of the space, and it shows up in how much they get for it. And one of the things that's sort of great about 161 East Chicago is that it was one of the first buildings that when it was built, the developer said, I'm going to let you buy raw space. So normally a floor will have A through H units. So that is 8 units per floor. And so they had standard floor plans for those typical number of units, A through H, standard floor plans. And you saw the combo of the D and the E. But they also had these odd ones that they gave different letters. And here is an example of raw space and the floor plan that was created when there were no givens that they had to be rethought. And this is 58K2. And you'll see that it's a duplex unit that's got, it's only 2 bedrooms, but it's got this sort of really cool open space. Really, it's near the top of the building. That's big windows. It's actually quite beautiful. It didn't have other pictures. It just had the floor plan available. So here you go. You just get to see the floor plan. And then here's 58J3. This was from 2014. And you'll see that this was raw space and they turned it into J. And you'll see it also, it's got a duplex, but it's the kinds of things you can do when you have raw space. It's sort of wonderful. That's one of the great things about 161 East Chicago.
Nice.
All right. That's all I've got.
That's good stuff.
You lived in a combo. Did you do it yourselves, or did you put it together?
We put it together. Yeah.
What were your thoughts on how you did it? What were your considerations?
Well, yeah, the consideration was how to make it work. I was very happy with what we did with it. In the end, the storage in that unit in the double condo was more storage than when I moved into my Victorian house in East Ravenswood. It was great storage. It was easy living. At the time, I thought, I have to be in a single family home because I have kids. Boy, was that silly. Looking back, it was a great condo. We loved living there. We loved the neighborhood. And I probably should have just stayed there until we went to Lakewood Balmoral. But I certainly liked it more than our Victorian and East Ravenswood.
So you've gone through it.
I've gone through
Take
it.
a quick look at luxury. We're out of time. We can do the luxury next time.
You want to do it next time? Okay. Yeah, because we went over a little. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for being patient with us. We'll be back next week and we'll talk about some luxury. There's a lot to talk about with luxury and what's going on. And maybe we should talk some new construction at the same time. Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah.
So thanks for watching Monday Morning Coffee with Kyle and Ann. We'll see you next time.
Bye.